Hi, I'm Ashley, and if you're listening to this, you're about to hear a story from one of the most defining moments of my life. It all began with what was meant to be a joyful celebration, my birthday party. At the age of 33, I had just been promoted to senior project manager at a tech company in Austin, Texas, and I was over the moon. It felt like my hard work had finally paid off. To celebrate, I decided to throw a birthday party at home and share the news with my friends and family. My husband Ryan and I had been preparing for weeks. Our home, though modest, was charming and nestled in a cozy neighborhood. We had decorated with twinkling lights, colorful balloons, and a beautiful cake I had carefully chosen. Ryan, a software engineer in his mid-30s, had always been my rock and partner in everything. He had been supportive of my career from the start, or so I thought. The evening started off wonderfully. Our friends and family gathered, and the atmosphere was full of energy. I remember chatting with Emily, a close friend and colleague, who was eager to hear about my promotion. "You must be thrilled, Ashley," Emily exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. "Tell us all about it." I smiled, feeling the warmth of the room around me. It was the perfect moment to share my news. When the time came, I gathered everyone together. I looked at Ryan, standing by my side, ready to support me. "Thank you all for being here," I began. "I have some exciting news. I've been promoted to senior project manager at work. It's a huge milestone for me, and I couldn't have reached it without your support." The room filled with cheers and applause. It was everything I had dreamed of, a chance to share my success. But as I looked around, I noticed Ryan's face didn't show the joy I expected. Instead of pride, there was a look of discomfort. Across the room, I spotted Mrs. Lancaster, Ryan's mother, sitting there with her usual critical expression. As I basked in the congratulatory messages, I heard her whisper to Ryan, her voice just audible enough for me to catch, "Is this what you wanted, for him to be overshadowed by his wife's career?" Her words pierced the moment, deflating my joy like a balloon pricked by a needle. I tried to brush it off, assuming it was just her usual behavior, but Ryan's reaction made things worse. He turned to me with a forced smile, his eyes filled with uncertainty. "Ashley," he said, his tone suddenly colder than I had expected. "I mean, it's great and all, but don't you think we should start thinking about our future? Like, settling down and starting a family?" My heart dropped. This was not the support I had been waiting for. I felt betrayed and confused, unsure of where this sudden shift was coming from. "Ryan, we've talked about this," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "This promotion is important for both of us. It's a step forward in my career, and it means more stability for us in the future." But Ryan wasn't having it. His gaze shifted toward his mother, who nodded approvingly, and he seemed to shrink under her disapproving gaze. "Ashley, when are you going to slow down and focus on us? The career isn't everything," he said, his voice filled with an edge of frustration. I felt my heart pounding in my chest. This was not how I had envisioned this night. The joyous occasion had turned into an unexpected battleground. I tried to defend myself, but the damage was done. The main course was served, but the air was thick with tension. Ryan's demeanor grew colder, and the warmth of the celebration seemed to vanish. As dessert was being served, I noticed that Ryan's frustration was escalating. The party that had started with so much promise was now overshadowed by a growing storm. The turning point came abruptly. Ryan stood up, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. "You should know your place, Ashley," he shouted, his voice echoing through the room. "You're my wife, not my competitor." I was stunned. The room fell silent, the clinking of cutlery ceasing as every eye turned to me. I stood up, my heart racing. "Being your wife doesn't mean I have to give up on my dreams," I said, my voice trembling with hurt and anger. "I deserve respect, not this." In a shocking moment that felt like it was in slow motion, Ryan's hand flew through the air and struck me across the face. The sound was a sharp, painful crack that seemed to freeze the room in place. I stood there, my hand flying to my cheek, pain spreading through me. The guests watched in stunned silence. With every ounce of strength I had, I walked toward the foyer. My heels echoed on the marble floor, each step a testament to my resolve to leave. I grabbed my purse, not daring to look back. The door closed behind me with a soft click, marking the end of a chapter one had hoped would be filled with celebration and support. That night, as I drove away, the house shrinking in my rearview mirror, I felt a storm of emotions: fear, sadness, and a surprising flicker of relief. I was alone, but for the first time in a long time, I felt the spark of something new: freedom. This was the beginning of a new journey, and I was determined to see where it would lead. The next morning, I woke up in my small apartment, the familiar hum of the city outside providing a stark contrast to the chaos of the previous night. It was strange how silence could be both comforting and unsettling. I had spent the night at Emily's place. She had insisted I stay there, and I was grateful for her support, though it was hard to shake the heaviness that clung to me. Emily was a true friend. She was there for me when I needed someone the most. She had seen me through long work hours, career challenges, and now this unexpected crisis. As I walked into the kitchen, she greeted me with a warm smile and a cup of coffee. "You must be exhausted, Ashley," she said, her voice gentle, "but I'm glad you're here. We'll get through this together." I nodded, taking the cup and savoring the warmth that seeped into my cold fingers. The coffee was strong, a much-needed jolt to start the day. "Thanks, Emily. I don't know what I would have done without you," I admitted, my voice wavering. The night before, after I had left my own birthday party, I had driven aimlessly before ending up at Emily's. The party, which was supposed to be a celebration, had ended in a shattering of dreams. I had never imagined Ryan could react so violently. I had always thought of him as my partner, my equal. The betrayal cut deep, leaving me with a mix of anger and sadness. The days following the party were a whirlwind of emotions and chaos. I knew I needed to take control of my life, starting with ending my marriage. The decision to contact a divorce attorney, something I had never imagined I would do, felt like a heavy, irreversible step. The attorney's office was cold and sterile, starkly contrasting the vibrant, hopeful life I had once known. Sitting across from the attorney, I felt a mix of resolve and apprehension. "We can begin the process as soon as you're ready," he said, his voice both professional and compassionate. "I'll need some details from you, and we can file the paperwork." I took a deep breath, nodding in agreement. "Let's do it. I can't keep living like this. It's not healthy for either of us." The following weeks were a blur of legal meetings, paperwork, and deep moments of self-reflection. Work became my refuge. My boss, Mr. Johnson, proved to be a steady source of support. He knew about my situation, and his encouragement gave me the strength I needed. "Ashley," he said during one of our talks, "you've been handling everything with such grace. Remember, your work is valuable, and we're all here for you." Emily, too, was a constant pillar of comfort. She kept me grounded and reminded me of my strength. "You've worked too hard to get where you are, Ashley," she often said. "Don't let this setback define you. You are capable of achieving even greater things." Despite the support I had, going through the divorce process was emotionally exhausting. Ryan tried to reach out, leaving messages and calling. His voice, filled with regret and desperation, made it even harder. "Ashley, can we talk?" one voicemail said. "I'm sorry for everything that happened. I want to fix this. Please, let's talk." I listened to each message, each one a painful reminder of the past. The more he begged, the clearer it became that reconciliation was no longer an option. The man I had married was not the person I needed. His attempts to make things right were too little, too late. I had to focus on healing and moving forward. During this difficult period, my career began to take on even greater meaning. The promotion that once symbolized joy now became a testament to my resilience. I threw myself into my work with renewed passion. I attended conferences, shared my experiences, and found myself mentoring young women in the industry. One of those women was Lily, an intern who reminded me of myself when I was just starting out. She had the same spark in her eyes and a drive to succeed despite the challenges. I took her under my wing, guiding her through the complexities of the tech world. "Don't let anyone make you doubt yourself," I told her during one of our sessions. "You deserve to pursue your dreams, and you have every right to respect." Mentoring Lily became one of the most rewarding aspects of my life. Watching her grow and thrive gave me a renewed sense of purpose. It reminded me that, despite the personal battles I was facing, I could still make a positive impact on others. Her success was a reflection of the strength and determination I had fought so hard to cultivate in myself. Meanwhile, Ryan's life seemed to be unraveling. Through mutual acquaintances, I learned that his professional reputation was suffering. His behavior at the party had left a lasting impression, and he was struggling to rebuild his career. He reached out to me for help, but I remained firm in my decision. I needed to maintain distance for my own well-being. One evening, I found myself reflecting on the past few months. It had been a journey of rediscovery and growth. I had faced adversity head-on, learned to set boundaries, and reclaimed my identity. It was a painful process, but it had ultimately led me to a place of empowerment. Looking back, I realized that the night of my birthday party, while devastating, was also a turning point. It was the moment I chose to stand up for myself, to walk away from a toxic relationship, and to embrace a future that was entirely my own. The path wasn't easy, but it was one that led me to a renewed sense of purpose and self-worth. As the divorce proceedings continued, each day felt like a tightrope walk between moving forward and looking back. I was trying to balance my emotional recovery with maintaining a facade of normalcy at work and in my personal life. Ryan's attempts to reach out only added to the weight of the situation. Despite the constant barrage of phone calls and messages, I remained resolute in my decision to move on. One chilly November morning, I sat at my desk, working on a new project at the office when Emily stopped by. She could always sense when I was struggling, and today was no different. "You're looking a bit distant," she said, taking a seat across from me. "How are you holding up?" I sighed, rubbing my temples. "It's tough, the constant reminders of what happened. It's like I can't escape it. Ryan's been trying to reach me, and it's hard not to feel conflicted. Part of me wants to hear him out, but I know I need to stay strong." Emily nodded understanding. "You've done an incredible job navigating all this. It's okay to have moments of doubt, but remember why you made the choice you did. You deserve to be treated with respect and love. Don't let his regrets sway you." Her words were a balm to my frazzled nerves. I appreciated her unwavering support, especially during moments when I felt tempted to second-guess my decisions. As the weeks went by, the divorce process became more routine, albeit emotionally draining. I had my moments of questioning if I was making the right choice, but then I would remember the party, the betrayal, the violence, and I would reaffirm my decision. One significant turning point came during a work conference. I had been invited to speak about my experiences in the tech industry and the challenges I had overcome. The speech was a chance to share my journey and connect with others who faced similar obstacles. I was nervous, but I knew it was important for my own growth and for the young women who looked up to me. The day of the conference, I stood backstage, my heart racing. Emily was there for moral support, giving me a reassuring nod. "You've got this," she whispered. "Just be yourself and share your story." When it was my turn to speak, I took a deep breath and walked onto the stage. As I looked out at the audience, I saw faces full of anticipation and curiosity. I started by recounting my promotion and the excitement of achieving a significant career milestone. Then I shifted to the challenges I faced, including the betrayal and the subsequent journey to reclaim my identity. "It's easy to let adversity define you," I said into the microphone, my voice steady. "But it's far more powerful to take control and redefine yourself. I faced a difficult decision to leave a relationship that no longer served me, but it was the hardest and best choice I've ever made." The response I received was beyond anything I had imagined. Afterward, women approached me, sharing their own stories of struggle and empowerment. Their words of gratitude and encouragement affirmed the profound impact of speaking out. It became clear to me that my painful experiences were not in vain. They had a purpose: to inspire and support others facing similar challenges. During this time, my mentorship with Lily grew even more meaningful. She was thriving under my guidance, taking on more responsibilities at the company. Watching her progress was a constant reminder of why I had to keep pushing forward. We spent hours discussing her career goals and the personal obstacles she faced, and I couldn't have been prouder as I saw her confidence flourish. But my sense of empowerment was continually tested by Ryan's unrelenting attempts to reconnect. He sent me letters, made phone calls, and even showed up at my apartment once. Every time, I remained resolute. I had learned that my worth wasn't defined by my past relationships or the opinions of others. I was building a new life on my own terms and goals. One evening, after a particularly emotional day, I received yet another letter from Ryan. Filled with apologies and pleas for another chance, it stung, but I stayed firm. I felt a brief pang of sorrow for what we once had, but I knew that reopening those wounds would only hinder my progress. I wrote a short but firm response. Ryan, I've made my decision. It's time for both of us to move forward and find our own paths. I wish you the best, but I need to focus on my future now. I sealed the envelope and sent it off, my final act of closure, a step toward leaving the past behind for good. As the new year drew near, I found myself filled with hope and a renewed sense of purpose. My career was flourishing, and I was making a tangible difference in the lives of others. With each passing day, it felt as though I was shedding the weight of my past and stepping into a brighter future. My professional journey continued to thrive, with more opportunities for leadership and speaking engagements. Each new accomplishment was a testament to my resilience, and I was determined to seize every opportunity that came my way. One crisp January afternoon, I was preparing for a conference where I would speak about leadership and personal empowerment. It was one of those moments when I felt my past struggles come full circle, transforming into a platform for sharing wisdom and encouragement. Emily, my ever-supportive friend, was there to help with the final details of my presentation. Your story is going to resonate with so many people, she said, reviewing my notes. You've turned your experiences into something truly inspiring. Her faith in me meant the world. As I stood before a room full of eager faces, ready to share my journey, I could feel the weight of my experiences fueling my words. I spoke passionately about the importance of setting boundaries, reclaiming one's identity, and finding strength through adversity. I shared how leaving a toxic relationship had ultimately brought me to a place of empowerment and growth. The response was overwhelmingly positive. Attendees came up to me afterward, expressing their gratitude and sharing their own stories of overcoming challenges. It reaffirmed why I had chosen to be open about my journey. Helping others realize that they too could overcome their struggles gave me a deep sense of fulfillment. During this time, my mentorship program with Lily continued to flourish. She had transformed into a confident, capable professional, and I couldn't have been prouder of her achievements. Knowing that I had played a part in her growth brought me great satisfaction. Our sessions went beyond just career guidance. They also delved into personal challenges and the importance of staying true to oneself. Meanwhile, Ryan's attempts to reach out became less frequent. I had received a few more letters, each filled with regret and pleas for reconciliation. However, I had made it clear that I was moving forward with my life. I had learned, often the hard way, that my worth wasn't defined by how others saw me. My focus had shifted to creating a future that was entirely my own. In late February, I was invited to join a panel discussion about women in tech, a thrilling opportunity to speak alongside other accomplished professionals and share our insights on breaking barriers in an industry traditionally dominated by men. As I prepared for the panel, I found myself reflecting on how far I had come since that life-altering birthday party. The day of the panel, I felt a mix of excitement and nerves. Standing in front of the audience, I realized that my journey had not just been about overcoming personal struggles. It had been about embracing my strengths and using them to inspire others. I spoke passionately about the importance of self-worth, setting boundaries, and following one's ambitions, despite the pressures of society or family. The discussion was a success, and the positive feedback from the audience was overwhelming. It was clear that my story and the lessons I had learned resonated with many. I felt an immense sense of accomplishment and pride. I had transformed a difficult chapter of my life into a source of inspiration and strength. As spring approached, I felt more grounded and confident in the life I had created. My career was thriving, my personal boundaries were firmly established, and I found fulfillment in mentoring others. The challenges I had faced had shaped me into a stronger, more resilient person, and I was determined to continue building upon that foundation. One evening, while reflecting on my journey in the quiet of my apartment, I came to an important realization. The true measure of success wasn't found in accolades or professional milestones, but in the growth I had experienced and the person I had become. I had learned to value myself, set clear boundaries, and pursue my passions with unwavering determination. I had taken control of my life and built a future aligned with my values and aspirations. My journey was no longer defined by the past, but by the strength and resilience I had cultivated within myself. As I looked toward the future, I felt a deep sense of hope and excitement for the new possibilities that awaited me.